Alright guys, so if you've been following along, you know that we're in the tuning phase on the Corvette, on the C4. And we had a kind of a weird off idle issue that wasn't going away, and my tuner was thinking that maybe it was an injector. So I mentioned to him I would get new injectors and what should I do size wise, and he said with my setup, with all the mods that I've got, to do like a 42. And 24 is stock on these cars, so I'm going through and just swapping out the injectors. You can see I already did 6 of them. I got these from Top Flight. They are supposed to be Bosch injectors, but I don't know. They say made in China. Bosch might be made in China. I don't think so. But anyway, on the C4, the way that they're set up, and every car is different. I've done quite a few, but they run a little clip right here, and you just have to pull the tangs up of the clip on both sides, and it's a little bit fiddly because it wants to drop down once you get one side up. So I'm just using one of my picks, which are invaluable, and I think I'm ready for a new set because these are getting they get bent and they get dull. But just take them out and go real slow because they want to jump right out at you. And what you do on these is you keep a little clip that holds them in. So that's a 30-year-old injector right there. I don't know if these were creating an issue or not, but like I said, with my tune, should have a bigger injector anyway, so even if this doesn't cure that off idle issue that I've got, it's okay because I've got modded heads, bigger cam, bigger valves, so definitely need these. And then my tuner can tune for these. And on this car, it's actually easier if you just do the bank of 2 at a time. Come out. Here we go. And a good thing to do, oh, they are fiddly. A good thing to do is, once you get them out, is just look inside the port where they're going back in and make sure it's clean in there. Oh, this one's cranky. It knows it's on camera. Probably what would have been a better idea is to do 2 of these picks. There we go. All right. Okay. And there we go. So it's interesting the difference between the stock ones and the aftermarket ones. I mean, this is a big metal heavy thing, and the cheap Chinese replacement. You can spend a lot of money on injectors. I didn't spend a huge amount on these, but they were from Top Flight, and Top Flight's a pretty reputable Corvette outlet, so unless you guys chime in the comments and tell me that they aren't, and they're junk, but I'm already stinging from all the money I've spent on this car. So these weren't the cheapest ones out there, but they were definitely in line with like middle of the road, you know, not the most expensive, not the cheapest. So you can see I just put a little bit of assembly lube on it, and you want to make sure that the bore in here is clean. And basically what I've been doing, I was going to shoot some carb cleaner in there, but you know, the thing with carb cleaner is sometimes it doesn't play nice with rubber O-rings. Brake cleaner for sure doesn't. You got to be careful of that one. But when it comes to stuff like this, I don't like using brake cleaner around rubber O-rings like this. So basically, you get and I make sure they're going all the same way that they were. You get your little clip pointing in the same direction, and you slide it right here and get the orientation correct, and then just drop there you go, snap, snap, boom, boom. I got one more to do. And then what I'll do is I'll assembly lube all those, drop it into the intake, and connect everything. I'm actually waiting on spark plug wires right now. I had to pull the, that's a whole nother story. It's been a real battle with these headers, getting these headers to play nice with the spark plug wires and other heat sensitive items around them. Alright, clip. I do this first before I put the clip in it, because then you can rotate all the way around with the assembly lube. Then we go with the, make sure the orientation's right, make sure the clip orientation's right, slide it in. A song from Whitesnake back in the 80s, wasn't it? Slide it in right to the top. Wonder what he was talking about. All right. And then just when you push them in, just make sure you're kind of a uniform, like that, straight in. There we go. So, and the other thing that's good if you're working with the fuel rail, guys, is make sure you dump out the fuel first before, you know, you pop one of these off and a flood of fuel goes in your crotch. All right, so I'm ready to install it. So I'm gonna do this around all these little guys. Hopefully it just pops. I'm going to make sure it seats correctly into the intake. Usually they just kind of pop on. It's all a lot of stuff like this is done by feel. You don't want to push it in or bend it or crack something. I'm being careful not to get the assembly lube up near the injector head, because I just don't know if that would foul it or create an issue. Probably not, but let's just take every precaution. Okay. Oh. You want to ride along while I do that? Okay. I'm actually going to bag up the old injectors and box them and just keep them just to have. Let's go ahead and install. All right. One nice thing about the Corvette, you can, with the C4, the clamshell hood, you can take the wheel off, you can get right up here front and center. So when you're going in, just make sure you don't crunch any of the little clips. Like I'm doing right now. Make sure everything clears, all the little plastic doodads. It's actually harder than it looks. Okay, clear there. Clear there. Clear there. I think that's good right there. So now get them all lined up like that, and then just gentle pressure, boom. Boom. Two more booms, guys. There's one. Did that one go in when I wasn't looking? I think so. I think that's it. Yeah. We are in. And when I put everything back together, I'll turn it on for a second. Let the fuel pump build pressure, just make sure there's no leaks. And then snap these on. Snap, snap. Now, I'm not going to be able to start the car right now because I do not have a header right there, but kind of glad to get this out of the way. This little fiddly job. So I've got to figure out my situation with the header, and am I going to wrap it or reroute the plug wires differently. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do. I have to figure that out in the next day or so. This one's a little tight back here, so take a look. I think I'm going to loosen this up to get some play here, so I'm not forcing this on. That's on there. There's a little hose that goes here, and then these hoses, that's the rear. I actually marked it R, but I didn't need to mark it because these are two different sizes. They can only go on one way. I've got to find the other rubber part to go over that before I snap that on. And it's down yonder somewhere. Four bolts right here. Boom, boom. And then that's a completed. They look kind of cool, the green. There's a cover that goes over these, so you won't be able to see them anyway. But I've got to load up my tune. The tuner wrote me another tune for these injectors, so I'll do that before I start it. But interesting. We'll see. Interesting to see what happens when we fire it up. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being with me. All right. Take care.